what should they do at 3? So I think the main things people are talking about now are Jamar Chase, Sewell, Rashawn Slater, or potentially trade down. What do you think the best option is here?
I think for the Miami Dolphins, because they drafted Austin Jackson last year, they extended Eric Flowers to play guard. I think they're looking for more continuity in their offensive line. If I'm not mistaken, they also drafted another tackle in the middle rounds last year. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's a lot of information to just have in my head off the top of my head. But I think that the offensive lineman route is a little rich. I think at 3 itself, I'd rather have them trade down. I've watched Penei Sewell. I think he's a really, really great run blocker. I think he's a good pass protector. But I think Jedrick Wills from last year is a better prospect than him, which sounds crazy to say. But my point while saying that is that I don't think Penei Sewell is Orlando Pace or Jonathan Ogden or Walter Jones or Trent Williams, the type of guy that Laramie Tunsil was like this. You draft him, you put him on the left side for 15 years, and that's it. I don't think he's that guy. I think he's a really good player, but I don't think he's that guy. And so for that reason, I think if you get a great offer, you trade down from 3. I don't like taking Jamar Chase at 3. I've outlined it for a variety of reasons before. Yeah, I think if they're able to trade down 8 to 10, get Jalen Waddle, to me, that's the sweet spot for them. Get Waddle or get Sewell 8 to 10 or get Slater 8 to 10. That, to me, is the sweet spot.
Interesting. Okay, so here's my thought on it. I'm big on no to Jamar Chase. We've talked about that. O-lineman, I would be cool with that, honestly. That'll just help overall. I don't think you can ever have enough good O-linemen like that. You can never say that. I'd say that's my number one thing. Honestly, draft Sewell or an O-lineman. And here's I'm gonna say trade down would be the best option. And here's why. So the Panthers are at 8. They are gonna take a quarterback or acquire one in free agency. I think that's been undeniably confirmed, right? The Broncos are sitting there at 9, and Drew Lock just doesn't look like that great of a quarterback by all accounts. So they could be in the market for a quarterback. And there's 3 big names, right? And we don't know what the Falcons are going to do at 4 because, Matt Ryan's older, so they could take someone. So if they trade back to 8 or 9, I'm thinking at minimum they would get at least a next year first and then 2 seconds. I think they would get that, honestly. Trade back to 8 or 9. They could take, if they did, they could take an O-lineman there. If they did want a receiver, they could take Waddle, they could take Smith, or Chase is there and they really like him, they could take him. I think trading back is the move just because of what they acquire, and it's not like a guy they're getting is much worse. And then here's one more tidbit, Vish. So Brian Flores was saying, it was either Flores or their GM, when talking about the position, he was saying, this is a quote. He said, "I know that there's a lot of good players and we've been scouting them, and I think there's 10 really, really good ones." So it sounds like he's open, or they're open to the idea of trading down a little bit, getting some more capital, and then getting a guy who they would maybe take at 3 anyway because they really like him. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with that. So real quick, they did draft Robert Hunt, and he started 11 games for them, 39th overall. So Austin Jackson, one side, Solomon Kinley, right guard, was also a pretty high draft pick, and then Robert Hunt. So they have a young offensive line. They just got Isaiah Wilson, who was a first-round pick for peanuts in a 7th-round pick. So I just think that offensive line, it's maybe not the most pressing need, though it needs to get better because they have a lot of investment there already. So I'm with you on the trade down. So if he thinks there's 10 really good players in the draft, then that means he thinks he's going to get a really good player if they trade down. You outlined Carolina. You said Denver. I think there's a part of me as a Niners fan that's thinking that the Niners are going to go trade up to 3 and get Justin Fields. So Niners at 3 is another one. And because of that, I say what I think is that ultimately they should trade down. I don't like the idea of Jamar Chase with Tua Tagovailoa. I don't think it's a good fit because Tua doesn't throw a lot of balls that are contested. And Jamar Chase, his game is really, he's special with contested catches. I think Jalen Waddle is really the special fit. Tua's got a really quick release. He's really accurate, short. You give him a guy that he can get the ball out to quickly and is going to make plays. And Jalen Waddle is that guy. I think Jalen Waddle still – I like Jalen Waddle so much. He's the closest thing I think I've ever seen to Tyreek Hill. And I would say no way you take him at 3 because he's 5'10". But trade down, get Jalen Waddle. To me, if you don't take a quarterback, that's ideal for the Miami Dolphins.
And Tua did play with Waddle and Smith. So either of those guys, he'd already have a rapport with them. Like, it would be a little different. It's the NFL, but, still, that's definitely some continuity that would help him a lot. And, I mean, he killed it at Bama, so that would be insane. Sewell at 1 and Slater 2. But Slater's been ranked really, really highly by I know Daniel Jeremiah and then a few other guys.
He has Slater above.
Slater 1, yeah. So these guys are both really, really good prospects. And then 2, the Dolphins have the 18th pick too. So if they think there's a receiver there, like maybe a Bateman, Kadarius Toney, another guy like that, they'll maybe think about receiver there, and then they could draft. I mean, they could go O-line, receiver, or
linebacker.
Yeah, like
Micah Parsons. But there's also linebacker value with like a Jabril Cox in the middle rounds, and the Dolphins have 5 picks I think it's 5 in the top 100 or 4.
They have a lot.
They have a wealth of picks, and you could play the same game with the offensive tackle to receiver, because Darisaw is considered to be a first round pick. Elijah Vera Tucker, though some people project him as a guard, he could play tackle too. So there are other players where the Dolphins, honestly, the bottom line is that they control this draft.
Yes.